Alright everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Jordan Report and I am your host, Robert Jordan. Everyone please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Alright, we're going to do a couple of articles on voter fraud in Black America concerning black elected officials. We're going to start in a small town and then move up to the bigger cities because it's everywhere in Black America, believe it or not. And it's usually and always the Democrats. And I just have to say that because that's according to my research and what I find, that's who it is most of the time. We're going to start in a little town called Canton, Mississippi. I know most of us never heard of it. But in a town that calls itself the Hollywood of Mississippi, people say for years they've been hearing tales of dirty politics worthy of a movie script, like campaign buying votes with cash or beer. But it wasn't until the past few days when the former police chief, a former fire chief, and some others were arrested on voter fraud charges that locals realized just how deep the problem may be. It's always been kind of fishy business dealing with elections in Canton, Mississippi, said 21-year-old resident Harris, who is an African American and worked in the 2017 city campaign for a white Republican who lost the race for mayor. They cheated him, in other words. 6 people were arrested Thursday, and one was arrested Friday after a grand jury indicted them on a variety of election fraud charges. They face accusations of bribing voters, improperly helping people fill out absentee ballots, voting despite being convicted of disqualifying felonies, and voting even though they lived outside the city or voting district. The indictments came at a time that a disputed North Carolina congressional race is bringing attention to alleged election misdeeds nationwide. We have a problem with vote fraud in our country, people. It's not the Democrats deny it, but it's very true. Among those arrested was Vicki McNeil, a former Canton police chief who now serves on the board of aldermen. She faces 4 counts of voter fraud. She is alleged to have illegally helped people cast absentee ballots when she was running for re-election. McNeil declined to comment to reporters and released on $4,000 bail. Here she is. Black police chief. A former Canton fire chief, Kerry Johnson, was arrested Friday. He is accused of trying to influence a voter by promising beer and offering money to 2 others to sway their votes. The heaviest charges are against 38-year-old Courtney Rainey, who was appointed to the city school board and is Canton's director of human and cultural needs. Rainey was indicted on 10 counts of voter fraud, 2 counts of conspiring to commit voter fraud, 2 counts of voting by an unqualified person, and 1 count of intimidating a witness. These are all black people. The indictments allege Rainey paid 4 people for their votes in cash and 1 with a Walmart gift card. A lawyer for Rainey did immediately respond to a phone call and email seeking comment. Rainey is free on $15,000 bond. Canton has a population of just under 13,000. About 70% of the city's residents are black and 25% are white. The mayor and 6 of the 7 aldermen elected in 2017 are black. The alderman is white. There's a black ran city, and it's corrupt. Okay? Now we're going to move up to Southfield and show you another black official, Democrat official. Southfield city clerk charged with 6 election law felonies. I got a video. I'm going to show you the clip of her in court or being charged in court. Southfield city clerk Sharika Hawkins was charged Monday with 6 election fraud felonies in connection with the November 2018 election. Hawkins, 38, allegedly altered 193 absentee voter records, but the changes did not have an impact on the election in the city, Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson said. I want to be clear. The allegation that the Southfield clerk falsified official election records did not alter the outcome of any election, she said. There were no races that were won or lost as a result, and there were no voters who were disenfranchised. All valid votes in the election were ultimately counted, and the final election vote was total and accurate. According to Michigan State Police affidavit describing the crime, Oakland County officials discovered the issue during a post-election audit of Southfield election results. Here she is. Hawkins was charged with falsifying returns or records, forgery of public record, misconduct in office, and 3 counts of using a computer to commit a felony. The charges carry a maximum penalty of 14 years in prison. She was arraigned on Monday in 46th District Court and faces the October 15th preliminary examination. I'm getting ready to show you the clip of their news account.
It's important to note that when there are allegations of misconduct, we act swiftly to ensure they are addressed and justice is served.
Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson just this afternoon. Benson and the state's Attorney General Dana Nessel announced that the Southfield City Clerk, to my left here, is facing 6 felony charges, all of the charges tied to her administration on the November 2018 election. Jamie Edmonds following this today. What I think a lot of people watching this, Jamie, has wondered is whether any of this alleged illicit activity amounted to voter disenfranchisement.
Devin, the Attorney General and the Secretary of State say that's one takeaway here. No disenfranchisement of anyone. Everyone's vote counted, and they say that means the system has worked. This is the mugshot for Southfield City Clerk Sharikia Hawkins. She was arraigned this morning in 46th District Court on 6 felony counts relating to last November's election.
Count 1, election law, falsifying returns or records. Count 2, forgery of a public record. Count 3, misconduct in office. Count 4, using a computer to commit a felony. Count 5, using a computer to commit a crime. Count 6, using a computer to commit a crime.
Discrepancies in the Southfield voter counts for absentee ballots were brought to the Secretary of State's attention by Oakland County. According to the affidavit, the elections director there noticed numbers not adding up, revised counts for ballots, and altered reports. The Secretary of State alerted Michigan State Police and they conducted a formal investigation. Today, Secretary Benson said despite Hawkins' alleged actions, no elections were altered.
There were no races that were won or lost as a result, and there were no voters who were disenfranchised.
We went to Hawkins' house today in Southfield. Someone inside shut the door and locked it. Ms. Hawkins? We were just wondering if you wanted to respond. Today, Secretary Benson and Attorney General Nessel say this proves the system of checks and balances works.
And we work together, all of us, to ensure that those who seek to undermine the fundamental building blocks of our democracy are held accountable.
Now, the city of Southfield released a statement saying they are gathering information. The city does not have all of the facts at this time. There will be no rush to judgment. The city will be conducting a thorough internal investigation. Now, right now, Mrs. Hawkins is on administrative leave. Secretary Benson said today she will not be involved in November's elections, and a probable cause conference will be held on September 30th in front of a visiting judge because the judges here in Southfield have recused themselves. And by the way, one more note on this topic, we don't know what the motivation is. Live in Southfield, Jamie Edmonds, Local 4.
The motivation, she was still in an election. Okay, these are small places. Now you can imagine what's going on in Chicago and Detroit and these other majority black Democrat cities. So let's all be aware of people what's going on. We don't have good leaders like everybody else does. So we have to be very cautious about ours. That'll be all.